Just a caveat here that whatever we say here is really independent of whatever technology that each of these panelists is going to share with you. All right, so I just want to put a note out there. And of course, it's really about sharing the stories, sharing about what they see in the market, as well as how do we continue sustainability, developing that sustainability in this new world or new generation business. So on the panelists here, we have got two of them who are founders, all right, and two who are really second generation taking over the business or in the business. And so I just want to quickly start. You really heard a short introduction. I thought I should give the opportunity to them to have another one-two-liner on, what actually where they come from, maybe how they got into the business and so on. So I just want to get rolling by, first of all, having Jamie to say a few words about herself, like, entering into the business 14 years ago. Right, over to you, Jamie.
Okay, so I am the second generation, oldest of three kids. My parents are the founder, one of which is here taking a video of me. I have been in business for 14 years. Previously, I was in a very different wood business. It was Hollywood. This is a teak wood, but very different in many ways. But I was called back by my dad. That's a very whole other long story. The business now has we are teak furniture retail business. We are in Japan, Taiwan, Singapore. We have about more than 140 stores now with all our brands. We are a house of brands. We also have Scan Living, that is our leather equivalent of Scanteak. Teak is obviously just teak wood furniture. And we have Scan Comfort, which is a mattress brand as well. I'm a mother of three, so I have three little bosses at home. Youngest is 10 months, and the oldest one is 5. So all in all, everything keeps me very busy every day, but I'm loving what I do. So thank you.
All right, Wendy, over to you.
So I'm managing director for Bloomdale. We are an online retailer specializing in flowers and gift hampers. How I got into the business was actually due to an unfortunate event. My dad actually fell ill really suddenly, so I literally walked into the office and said, introduced myself that I'm Gary's daughter. I'm here to take over the business because my dad could not do it anymore. So for me, it was really a deep dive into it was really deep diving and just swimming as hard and as well as I could to stay afloat. And a lot of the journey involved just learning the business on my own, picking up the pieces, getting it to stay afloat, and then to improve it. So part of the transformation was taking it from a traditional business to adopting technology so that we can be more forward and we can expand our businesses beyond just like a traditional little store. Yeah.
Right. Okay, cool. Umi, share with us about yourself. Yeah?
Hi, my name is Umi Abdullah. I am the founder, managing director of Dapur Umi Abdullah Dining Group. I am 39 years old, mother of 3, grandmother of 2. Yes, I am. We start very early, Then once they grew up, we bring them in our business. So yes. I started my business serving tingkat meals from my own kitchen. I saw there is a need for home cooked food. So I discussed with my husband and say, hey, I love cooking. I've been doing it for a while. Why don't I cook meal and then we can share it with people who want to buy it? No, it can cover our market expense. So that is the idea behind it. I have never thought that I could bring it this far. Currently, I manage Noosh Noodle Bar. It's over at Esplanade. I have Ambang Cafe at East Village. I run the bakery as well. A massive catering kitchen over at Sembawang where we serve almost up to 500 bags a day. We deliver it in whole of Singapore. And yes, I'm also just sold one of my branding as a first franchise So yeah, there's a lot to do. That's a bit much about me. And here I am sharing my story with all of you.
Thank you, Umi. I'm sure that when you share that idea with your husband, he couldn't say no, right? Because he will not get dinner, right?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Okay, over to you, Ronnie Tommy.
Yeah, I'm Ronnie Tomé. I'm originally from Germany. I'm 47 years of age, and I came to Asia when I was 24. Wow. Originally just for a month holiday to Bali in Indonesia, but as many other people, it's very easy to fall in love in Bali with the island, with the women that comes later. And I stayed, and my background is I studied physical education. At that time, there was not much of work to do in Bali, being a sports teacher, so I started different kind of jobs. So now I've been an entrepreneur for 24 years. As you heard earlier, I sold a villa in Bitcoin in 2014. That was my business at that time, real estate, building villas, marketing villas, and managing villas. But that sale then changed my life pretty dramatically. In 2016, with a couple of friends, we then founded Ducatus here in Singapore with a very simple idea to make cryptocurrency really usable for pretty much everybody and to bring cryptocurrency in the mainstream. That was the original idea of Bitcoin when it was founded in 2008, 2009. It wasn't supposed to be another tool for speculation. It was supposed to be an alternative to the current financial system, and at that time, with the Lehman Brothers and the financial crisis, it was a revolution. But that has been forgotten over the last couple of years, and we wanted to bring it back, which just started with a simple idea of the cryptocurrency, has now grown into a global company. We now have 13 companies in 5 different countries. And we are right now signing very big deals in the UAE and in other countries. I've just come back from a business trip this morning, so if I'm sometimes a bit slow in my thinking, please excuse. I haven't slept for 48 hours. But it's a very fast industry. We are trying to get into every sector. We are now in franchising, we are in F&B, we are in real estate, we are in travel, we are in hospitality, and there's many, many more things to come.
Yeah. Again, thanks a lot, Ronnie, for sharing and for making it here this morning after just landing like just a few hours ago. Right? We appreciate it as well. Okay. Now, as you have probably heard from the panelists, a lot of sharing about their life experience in terms of circumstances that shaped their journey and so on to where they are today. And I'd like to hear a little bit more from Jamie. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about after entering your dad's business about 14 years ago, share those challenges and so on that you encountered, taking over a traditional business. So what were the steps that you have taken to kind of like digitizing the business?
When I first started, we have about 20 stores worldwide. My father was going to be majoritively in Taiwan, and I would help in Singapore. Then we had about 3 or 4 stores in Singapore, and we were quite in the reds. So when I took over, he worked me really hard. In fact, it was a great weight loss program. I lost 10 kilograms in 3 months, and then I lost a further 3 or 4 more kilograms in the next 2 months. So I went from like a pretty like ML size to a XS size within like 6 months. Okay, but I realized that I saw how hard my father is working, and I really believe that technology had a part to play. So for example, he had to visit stores every day to make sure that the stores were clean, that he had to make sure that everything was in place, the stores were open. So I began to, and he wanted me to follow suit. And I said, Dad, I think there's an easier way of doing things. Let's start with CCTV, very basic. And then I started saying, okay, then let's have a website. I think it's a cheaper way of doing marketing because it's the next big thing. So we were one of the first in the industry to start having a website. And eventually we wanted to do more marketing, and I said, Dad, we need to go into ERP. We have over 10 years of data then. I said, let's digitize these things. So my father, being the entrepreneur in him, says, whatever you want to do, you do. If okay, that I do in Taiwan. So then he gave me a lot of free hand to do rebranding. He allowed me to do a lot of digitization, but it was very painful because when I first came back, like I said, my background was marketing, movie marketing. Never wanted to join wood marketing. My hair was short, it was blue. It was very different from the traditional, wood furniture. So in trying to get them to change, it's not the digital technology that's hard. It is the change management that's difficult. And until today, we are still evolving. So we have done, CRM, all your whole suite of things. We have done augmented reality. Right now, I'm working on machine learning to see how we can generate user data from many years back, because we're all brick and mortar, and use predictive analysis to understand the future prediction of trends coming forward, because rentals are getting very expensive, so we want to make them smaller and smaller, the shop space. And with smaller shop space, you really need the right merchandise to keep the revenue going. You need to know what your consumers want at which part of Singapore, so that you can put the right products there and then sell it. So, so it's just been a very fun journey, a very painful journey over these 14 years. But one of the other reasons I did share on a personal note why I did go into digitization was because once I had children, I realized that I was very ambitious. I want to be a working mother and a successful one. So I had to see how technology could buy me more space, could buy me more time. So for example, I got business analytics. So while I am possibly, nursing my child, I can still look at a dashboard and have like online numbers or on-hand numbers right there, so I don't need to call my managers at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning and ask them, hey, what's the most profitable, which store is working, what products is not. It's right in the palm of my hand. I could check on the stores, on CCTV, so it just gives me a bit more time and space to scale the business during this interim period. So that was kind of what sparked it off. Okay.
Yeah, I guess you shared with me as well, the work-life balance that's so important today, that you need to move the business fast, but at the same time, you need to be able to be empowered to be working anytime, anywhere. And it's not just, as Jamie has shared with me, not just for herself, but also consideration for employees as well. They need to work really from anywhere as part of that. And you are definitely one company that really look after your employees very well. Yeah, okay. Thank you for sharing that. And Wendy, I heard of this as well through some of these interviews that we have and so on. Maybe you share with us a little bit about your experience when you took over your dad's business, in your 20s, and then what was it like in terms of challenges that you encountered and moving into the digital journey? Yeah.
So when I took over, I think a lot of the challenge came both from external and internal. Externally, because I was very young at that point in time, a lot of competitors saw it as an opportunity that the business is weak at that time, and so they tried to do all sorts of tricks and things like that to intimidate me out of the business. So I even had people calling me up and saying, oh, you shouldn't do this, I don't think you can do it, and even sexist remarks like, oh, you're just a girl, why don't you just go get married, you shouldn't be doing the business. So externally there were a lot of this, and then internally, because the staff has been working there for so long, suddenly when I came in, it's a change in management for them, a change in style, and because the staff are a lot older than I was at that time, it was difficult for them to look at me and say, okay, you are now our boss. We are going to listen to what you say. And obviously, because I bring in ideas that are different from what they have been doing in the last 20 years, I wanted new designs. I wanted to embrace technology. I wanted to do things in a different way, which I thought would be more efficient, with products that I thought would be more relevant to the younger generation or the new economy. So, like Jamie mentioned earlier, it's a lot of change management. The technology itself is not difficult. The product design itself is not difficult. It's how do you get the buy-in from your staff to say, look, maybe let's try this new way. I know you have been doing this for 20 years. I know it's worked very well for everyone and for Bloomdale for 20 years, but why don't we try this? So that was painful. And I think majority of the pain comes from just being resilient and being convicted of your decision. So I think for me, it was difficult because I didn't really have experience. I only had just gotten out of school. I had 1 year of work experience in banking, completely unrelated. So it was very, it's learning on the go, just being convicted of what you want to do. Doesn't matter of all the naysayers around you, internally, externally. Just go with it, believe in yourself, and charge forward. And just being resilient. You're going to fall many, many times. I cannot count the number of times I've heard disparaging remarks about myself, how many times I've fallen, how many times I've felt so lonely and so difficult in this journey. But at the end of the day, it's all going to be worth it.
Great,
yeah.
great. Thanks for sharing that. Really very heartwarming hearing your experiences. I'd like to maybe talk a little bit, on the business that Umi is running, and from a small home kitchen to a central kitchen, and then restaurants, catering, and then fusion food. All right. I mean, what caused that change? Yeah, maybe share with us.
I have been a Malay chef for quite some time. You know, I love Malay food, and I've always focused on that. So when with my first restaurant, Ambeng Cafe, I realized that a lot of my customers are from the senior generation. You know, so I feel that gap. And I want to have more youngsters coming to me, you know. I want to explore my culinary skills. Okay, now I'm going to put Malay aside. I want to go for fusion. Not particularly exactly French or Italian. I wanted to do fusion because I could still retain my Malay cooking. So when I do that, I think I can get the youngsters to come over, you know, to connect with them, give them the experience. So it's very challenging for me on that aspect. So that's where I decided to open Noosh Noodle Bar and Grill over at Esplanade. For the first few months of operating that business, I have people coming to me, hey, are you sure that one is yours? I say, hey, you're talking to me, you know, that's mine. No, but you have been doing rendang, you have been doing chicken, rice, you know, all that. But suddenly, what's the shift? And I've gave it an ambience that is totally different from a traditional Malay restaurant. So I decided to move to that angle so that I could be more relatable to other type of audience. So that's why I do fusion food. And it's been successful so far, interesting, very challenging, not easy, you know, to marry two different cuisine together and put it on a plate. But so far it's been good.
Great.
Yes.
Thanks. And I think you also told me that it's because your passion in wanting to be able to, satisfy, the market demand, right?
Yes,
a different
definitely.
group altogether, and so on, connecting with them.
Correct. When it comes to food, I would like to see the whole family together. So with just a Malay restaurant, I can see all senior generations. So I was thinking, okay, now I'm going to create something that everybody can sit at the table. So at Noosh Noodle Bar, not only we have grill, we even have nasi goreng. You know, so I want everyone to come together at the table, and that makes me happy.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then you're bringing even to YouTube as well. As I saw on YouTube,
Correct.
you have got a spaghetti, goreng, seafood.
I take a spaghetti and I goreng it in a Malay style, and I put it up on YouTube. I want it to inspire more youngsters to cook. They may not be interested to cook a sambal egg, sambal prawn. They won't. So I put it together. I would love to see that Malay flavor still being appreciated by them. So I put it together with spaghetti, and so far they like it. Yeah.
Great. Thanks a lot. All right, Ronnie, switching gear a little bit to your part of the business. Tell us a little bit about what has technology to do with your business, and what actually, why did you do it then?
Well, digital currency is basically, that's the basic. So it's digitalisation. It's the new form of transacting, which I believe is the future. I've said 2 years ago that I believe that within the next 3 to 5 years, the first countries will go cashless, completely digital when it comes to transacting between a seller and a purchaser. But then over the last 2 years, when I followed the cryptocurrency industry, it developed in a very different way. You all probably have heard of ICOs, which was the new way of fundraising that came up in 2017, and people forgot about what the original idea of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency was. So that was the point where we said, okay, we need to bring this cryptocurrency from the cloud onto the real business. And we took the money the revenue that we made, the profits that we made from selling the coins, and reinvested it into traditional businesses like a coffee shop. So we opened in December 2017 the first cashless cafe in Singapore at Robinson Road, and it got very big media attention. We had CNBC, we had Reuters, we had news channels coming from Hong Kong, from China, just to report about the fact that we have a cashless cafe. Now, cashless for me is not crypto. We are accepting all kinds of payment except cash. So I didn't even think that it's such a special idea. For me, that was just a logical kind of next step, because it makes it a lot of easier as well. You don't need to count the money at the evening. You don't need to be worried that somebody is stealing it. You know, it's all there. It's very easy to control. But apparently there was something special, and we've now been featured in more than 100 countries around the world. And that was the idea of, or that was the start of actually trying to take that idea further and build more businesses which are, number one, cashless, and then over time are focusing more towards cryptocurrencies. Even in our cafe, you can pay with a debit card, you can pay with nets. If you pay in the card as coins, you're getting discounts. And basically, it's a very simple kind of marketing. Everybody likes to get a better price. If you pay less for the same product by using a different means of payment, you want to know how you get that medium, basically, right? Yeah. So people are getting more and more interested in crypto. When we started, probably our revenue was 0.5% in crypto. Now we are up to 5%, and we are trying to push that more and more. And now we're bringing that into other businesses with our travel. On our travel platform, we are creating very special experiences that you can't find anywhere else, but you can only pay in crypto. And we are now able to ask to pay only in crypto, because now our coin has been listed on the public exchanges. You are able to purchase our coin in the cafe over the counter. So that was very important for us, to make it easy for people to find an entry into cryptocurrencies, because before it was very hard. A lot of people thought it's a very complicated kind of technology, which it is, but you don't need to understand the technology to use it. I don't understand how a credit card and all the things work, you know, when it comes to the technical part, but I know how to use it, and that is the important focus on everything we do. We want to simplify these transactions, make it as usable, as easy as possible for everybody to use, and also the older generations, because if in 3 or 5 years' time I'm right and countries are starting to go digital when it comes to payments as well, the young generations will have no problems with it. The older generations will. Yeah. And the sooner we start educating also the older generations, the easier it will be when it comes to the transition later.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. As you heard, there's, across the 4 panelists, a huge, massive leverage on technology to drive the business, to change and transform the business. Right now, we want to talk a little bit about the growing population, or that new generation coming in, potentially as the consumers, as customers of the panelists here. I'd like to first start off with Jamie to tell us a little bit about some of the pain points in promoting products coming up from a traditional business like, you know, Scanteak and so on. How do you kind of appeal to these new generation customers?
I think right now, you know, because of social media, there's a huge divide in the way we consume products. So when I first started in Singapore, I remember there's only MediaCorp, and then there's Straits Times and Zao Bao. And then if you probably advertise in these mass channels, you can probably hit everybody. Today, things have changed a lot. We know that social media, there is online digital channels, disruption. Actually, it's very interesting because I have a younger sister. She is 15 years younger than me. So in both ways, we do things are very different. So a very good example, I'm just going to stray a little bit from the main topic, is when we have a meal with my family, with my dad. So when we go to a very nice restaurant, the meal comes piping hot. So my father would say, 快点吃, hurry up, eat before it turns cold. My sister would go, wait, I need to take out a phone, nice phone, stand on the chair to make sure the picture is perfect, and then we can eat. So we see this big generation gap, and then here I am, I can do either, doesn't matter, right? So even in terms of marketing and reaching this generation, it's very different because we have to be relevant. Last time, like I said, I just need to do one artwork, I paste it everywhere else, we send it out. Now Facebook needs a certain artwork. Google AdWords needs a certain artwork. We have to put on YouTube, it needs a certain artwork. And then I need to put on, I don't know, let's collaborate with, let's say, Gain City, we need a different artwork. So suddenly I have one person doing so many artworks, but we are reaching the same amount of people. So definitely that incurs cost and that incurs resources. But the good thing about it, though, is that it is now trackable. We can actually become more directed. It's a lot more effort, a lot more work, but it also works for us. So what I'm trying to do is, one, I'm trying to get interns to come in. I think someone, panel just now spoke about interns. We're trying to get interns to come in. We work with a lot of schools, so we can get the young minds on the social platform, on the social media, to teach us how to make it work. So I'll close with a very interesting story. I was in the restroom, I was in the cubicle, when all the interns walked into the restroom with another intern. They didn't know I was inside. And then they just said, wow, I can't believe it, man. Scanteak's Instagram account, so little followers. Even I got more than her, you know. Them jialat, don't know how to increase their things. So it was funny, and then I waited till they left before I come out, because I kind of felt bad if I go, boo, you know, they will probably freak out. So when they walked up, I went upstairs, and then I just walked to her. I said, you know, I was actually in the toilet. She said, oh, crap. I said, no. I really want to know how I can get maybe just as many followers as you, if not even more. Can you help me curate my content? Can you teach me what we as Scanteak can do? Because eventually I need to hit, you know, the customers, you guys, right? So then, you know, she was like, okay, and she actually owned it. She owned it, she ran with it, and she really built up the followings. And I told her once we build it up, we'll all go for a nice meal, which we did. So that was maybe one of the ways. Obviously, there's also a lot of product improvement, product R&D, focus groups, and those are other things that we're doing to try to stay relevant, to try to stay fun and connected to the new millennials.
That's nice, right? Yeah. So talking to Wendy as well, I think Bloomdale has got similar challenges. Maybe Wendy, tell us about your experience in terms of how do you kind of capture the attention and stay relevant to the new generation. Yeah.
I think for me, I see it as an ever-evolving improvement towards our products and our services. I see it more as a new economy, not so much as targeting a certain age group. It's just that now the way people shop, it's just not the same as how we used to. I think what we try to do is, first of all, obviously, in terms of product, we draw inspiration from travel, we draw inspiration from fashion, to try to bring those elements into the way we present our bouquets, the way we do the flowers. It's just, I mean, a rose is a rose, but it's how you present it, you know, what materials you use to put the bouquets together, the color scheme, the kind of boxes that you use. And same thing for gift hampers. We look at the kind of food products that go in. We no longer want to just have generic brands that go into our food hampers. We want to have products that we import directly from Europe, from UK, that will make us different. We work with manufacturers to create packaging designs that are exclusive to Bloomdale. And the other thing that I find it's really important is customer engagement. So what we try to do on our Instagram is, instead of just putting all our products there, very hard sell, we actually deviate away from that. So we have very few product photos on our Facebook, but instead we give them, we put a lot of inspirational quotes that we think that our followers might resonate with. We also take pictures of behind the scenes on, like, say, if we are trying to create a new product, we take photos of behind the scenes so that our followers can come along with us on this artisanal journey. And the other thing that I find important now is that I think people want instant gratification. It's no longer, they want to be able to get something anytime, anywhere, in the middle of the night, anywhere around the world. And that's where e-commerce comes in. And instead of just being an e-commerce store, what we have done is that we have included features on our website that will allow them to personalize their gifts, allows them instant gratification by redeeming for cash rebates instantaneously when they purchase, instead of having to wait for your points and then call up customer service the next day and then go somewhere to queue up and pick up your gift. It's instantaneous. We give them cash, so it's clean and it's easy. We also have additional free features. For example, we have a personalized reminder service. So anyone can sign up. We remind them of, like, someone's birthday is coming up, someone's anniversary is coming up. So these are just value-added services that we give them. So I think all in all, it's a holistic way of engaging the customer, not just as a buy-sell transaction. It's no longer just, I put this item here at this price. Do you want to buy or do you not want to buy? I think the wooing, it's a longer process of wooing the customers. It's a different way of wooing the customers now. It's engaging them on a personal level rather than just on a transactional level.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Really about a few keywords there: personalization, instant gratification. These are stuff that resonates very well with the new generation. All right, Yumi, just I recall some of the things that you talk about when you're engaging the new generation in terms of social media, YouTube, Instagram, and so on. Tell us a little bit, what else are you doing in terms of engaging the younger generation, maybe on the social responsibility area? Maybe I'd like to hear a little bit of that.
My recent experience is going down to the girls' home. I was there sharing my experience, my journey. So these youngsters are very keen to know what they can do. Can they also become a boss? Can they also do business? So this is what I've been doing right now. I've been giving talks to, I've been accepting talks for schools and also poly, and to show them that actually we can start from zero, like how I did. I start very small and we go big from there. And not only that, I also doing consultancy work. Currently, I'm teaching these 4 kids. They're from ITE. They actually bought a branding from me, the Fat 5. I actually created this brand. We are doing pop-up stores. This is suitable for the children, I would say the teenagers, because they want to be in business. They want to be entrepreneur, but they don't want to be involved in the rent, getting a shop space, managing employees. So they are looking into pop-up stores. So since I'm in the business, I've been doing this for quite a while. So they tap on me. So we work together and I teach them how to come up with a pop-up store. I teach them from managing all the finance aspect of running a pop-up store, something simple for the teenagers. And I also teach them how to cook. It's mac and cheese anyway. So, but we have brought this mac and cheese very far. Not only we have simple mac and cheese, but I also created for them recipes like Texas, Mexican, we have Japanese mac and cheese, where we have teriyaki and all that. So this is what I'm doing now. And you can see more youngsters going to be entrepreneur, but they are doing it safely because they have people like us behind them. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Okay, thank you very much. Ronnie, in the crypto world, so how do you engage with the new generation, and what actually, what are some of the things that you're doing in terms of like capturing that share of the market?
You see, in the crypto world, when it started, it was pretty much those young techies and hackers who started it all. Okay. So they're automatically drawn to this new industry. They see a chance of making some quick money, because obviously they've heard about how Bitcoin started, about all these success stories. So many people became new millionaires overnight when the prices gone up. So a lot of people are drawn to this. So what we try to do is offer more a long-term kind of approach to it, and understand that, this is because it's a new technology. It's something, yes, that might be possible for the first couple of years, but if you want to be on the market for a long time, you have to marry that with a little bit of traditional ideas of running a business as well. So we hold courses, we educate, we do seminars, and we try to even engage and offer opportunities of these people, these younger generations joining with us. If they have an idea, we support it and we drive it. Apart from that, obviously, social media in that space is very important. The chosen medium of the cryptocurrency world is Telegram. So you have, groups with hundreds of thousands of people following, and they see their leaders, their technology that they follow, and it's quite fast. For us, it was new. I've never been very much involved in social media, and now, I needed to get used to that as well. We've created content, various contents. We're doing weekly short movies through Facebook. We do Instagram. We do blogs. We do the whole range, and we're still figuring out what works best. But again, my market is not just a new generation. They are there anyways. Yeah. We are trying to bring crypto to even the older generations.
All right, cool. Thanks a lot, Ronnie. Well, that's it. We have time only maybe for just one question. And then the rest of the question, maybe you can take it offline at the networking session. So maybe anyone from the floor that have a question for the panelists? Cool. Right, looks like you want to take it offline. So I thank again the panelists for being here and sharing with us your story. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can we invite all the panelists to stay on stage and have a photo taking with Renee? And also, we would like to present tokens of appreciation for your participation and for your sharing. Because there are female staff and guys, so.
Thank you.